a very big follow-up this morning to our exclusive interview just this past Friday with Ilya Shapiro. Now, in case you missed it, he's a constitutional law expert who sent a poorly worded tweet about President Biden's decision to select a Supreme Court nominee based on race and gender. He was arguing that they should have chosen another guy from the D.C. Circuit who happened to be an Indian American, and that anybody else would be lesser qualified. And in lamenting that it wouldn't be this one judge, he suggested, and instead we're going to get, quote, a lesser black woman. And the left ran with it. Not the left, but just sort of the woke left was completely ungenerous in their interpretation of it, even though he immediately deleted it and explained what he had meant. He just meant anybody other than this one judge, in his view, would be lesser qualified. Well, they smelled blood. He was about to take over this big legal center at Georgetown, and they tried to kill him. I mean, they just got him completely on the ropes. He was vilified for it. No one would accept his explanation, even though this guy has a totally professional, laudable, admirable history as a commentator, but he's a conservative. He's a classical liberal. And he was put into a kind of purgatory by his new employer, Georgetown Law, while Georgetown took 4 months to determine if that one tweet should lead to the end of Ilya Shapiro's stint at Georgetown before it even began. All right. Finally, they determined, okay, you didn't actually even work here before we foisted this misery on you. This 4 months investigation, and never mind when you actually sent out the tweet. So we're going to let you start at Georgetown Law. Well, Ilya had just received that news the day before he came on our show, and listening to him talk about what the requirements were going to be for him at Georgetown, what the dean had said publicly, even in announcing he could join Georgetown after all this, and Ilya's commitment to stand by his more originalist views of the Constitution, which they knew about in advance. It's a little bit more conservative leaning, more like Justice Scalia than it is like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We were forecasting with him in that interview, this is going to be a hell of a bumpy road, even from this point forward. Keep in mind, of course, there'd been huge outbreaks of upset on the Georgetown campus, the Black Student Law Association demanding reparations because of this, one demanding that they not be criticized for their criticism of Ilya because she claimed that they were the descendants of slaves. I mean, it got absolutely absurd. One demanding a cry room for students in the wake of that one tweet. It was insane. But in the end, not really because they supported his right to freedom of speech, but because they found a technicality saying he didn't yet work there. When he sent it, Georgetown said, okay, Ilya, you can come. Well, today, unbelievable news on it. Before we get to that, let me set it up with a bit of Friday's interview.
The dean put out a statement attacking me and calling me an appalling racist. It was honestly, Megyn, probably the second worst day of my life, the worst being when my mom passed when I was in college. There were physical manifestations in my health, great personal and professional instability. And today I'm with you the day after that purgatory ended.
My whole team was talking on the break like, this isn't going to last. Like, how can this last?
Whether that is going to be feasible now, the proof will be in the pudding. That is an interesting question, and I hope to make a go of it. But if it becomes the environment becomes truly hostile, then I'll have to see what the next step will be.
Well, just 72 hours later, Ilya Shapiro is out at Georgetown. He resigned. He resigned after that interview, writing in a letter to Georgetown Dean William Traynor that upon consultation with counsel, family, and trusted advisors, it's become apparent that his remaining at Georgetown has become untenable, saying there's now a target on his back, making it impossible for him to do the job that he had been hired to do in, quote, a hostile work environment. We called it. I'll say that. We called it. And this is part of a growing and very disturbing trend. We covered a couple of weeks ago the turfing of lauded Professor Roland Fryer at Harvard. He got sidelined. His entire research lab got taken away from him, even though he had tons of money in there, millions of dollars in there. They didn't care because a black professor the youngest tenured black professor in Harvard history. He had the nerve to do studies on policing and whether it leads to a disproportionate killing of black men, and concluded it did not. And that, among other equally provocative studies, got him turfed. Now, they blamed it on some trumped-up Me Too allegation, but they've turfed him. They can't fire him. But he's effectively been rendered feckless at Harvard. And then it just happened to Professor Joshua Katz at Princeton. Roland's at Harvard. This guy, Josh Katz, is at Princeton. Same thing, by the way. A trumped-up Me Too charge from years ago, 2006. He had a consensual affair with a student. It was adjudicated. He was turfed for a year to pay for his crime. He was brought back. Now, because he wrote an article objecting to some of the demands being made by the black professors, like an extra paid semester of sabbatical versus the white and the other race professors, he spoke out, said that's ridiculous. We shouldn't do that. Suddenly, the Me Too thing reared its head. The same case. They want to go back over it again. And he just got fired for not being cooperative in that investigation. Now you see Ilya Shapiro, one poorly worded tweet, which he immediately deleted and apologized for and explained the context of, effectively subjected to a hostile work environment, to where Ilya, a very smart guy, realized, I'm walking in the lion's den. This is all set up. And by the way, the words he chose, I'll tell you as a lawyer, hostile work environment, I consulted with counsel, remaining in my job was untenable. I would suggest to you, Ilya being a talented lawyer, he's setting himself up for a lawsuit, as he should. Because your boss can fire you by saying you're fired, and then if you have grounds, you can sue him or her. But they can also make it absolutely impossible for you to work at the place. All these guys, I mean, Roland Fryer might have that too, where you it's like, sure, come on to Georgetown. It'd be great for you. You're going to have to meet with every upset student and explain to them all why you're such a racist. And you're going to have to go through DEI training from now to the cows come home. Enjoy. Good luck on your research and running the law center. So we will see whether that's where this goes. But I'm glad. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he did it, because they don't deserve him. Ilya Shapiro's too good for Georgetown. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. Princeton, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Harvard, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves to lose guys like this. Brilliant professors who offer a little ideological diversity. And every time they try to, you cut off their hand. You tell them, you find some other reason why they have to be silenced. And Georgetown, you were the most disgusting, because while you did this to him, you touted your free speech policy, which I pointed out to Ilya on the show on Friday, an episode you should go back and listen to. It made no sense. Well, I found a way, the dean said, I found a way to uphold our free speech policy, which allows for diversity of viewpoint, but also reminding everyone that you must be cautious in such speech and sensitive not to offend. Well, in today's day and age, that's a silencer. It's a total silencer. He saw it. I saw it. The dean understood. And Ilya was going in there like a lamb to the slaughter. Are the high fuel costs putting a damper on your summer vacation plans? From higher prices at the pump to a jump in airfare, it's getting more expensive to get away for a week. But what if you could soak up those vacation vibes year-round? Get a Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas. Whether you want to stay close to home this summer or just want to extend your break, a Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas can transform your backyard into an oasis. It combines the benefits of a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. Michael Phelps Swim Spas by Master Spas have a water current so you can swim, do aquatic exercises, or just have fun with the kids. This is going to reinvent your family time. You will love it, and your family and friends will too. Michael Phelps Swim Spas by Master Spas come in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard, even if it's a small one. And since it's heated, you can use it year-round in any climate. Michael Phelps Swim Spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK to save $1,000 on a Michael Phelps Swim Spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. That's masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.